Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dimas Rizkar. I'm from Photography major. In this video, there are two things that I wanna explain. First one is about verb and the second is about auxiliary. Okay, let's start about the first one. As we know, definition of verb is a word used to describe an action, state, or occurrence, and forming the main part of the predicate of sentence, such as hear, become, happen. To make this easy to understand, let me give some example. I forget to tell you that Mr. Namjan will depart at 8 o'clock tomorrow. There are three verbs in this sentence. First is forget. This word show the activity. Next, we are going to talk about kind of verb and the example of each other. Verbs are systematically divided into two groups. First one is dynamic verb. Dynamic verb that showing activity are also called action verb. For example, sing, walk, eat, drinks. Second one is static verb. What is static verb? Static verbs are that express a state rather than action. They usually relate to thoughts, emotion, relationship, sense, status of being, and measurements. For example, made, need, please, want, agree, ghost. How about verb in sentence? Let's we make example in sentence. Yang ini yang betul. How about verb in sentence? Let's we make example in sentence. I want new bag. Want is verb that show the feeling. Okay, next we want to talk about regular verb and irregular verb. Based on change in form of the verb is divided into two types. Example second, she eaten an apple for her dinner yesterday. Verb in this sentence is verb to eaten because this sentence is past tense. Different from regular verb. Irregular verb is a verb whose conjunction follow a different pattern or a verb in which the past tense is not formed by adding the usual ed ending. For example, sing in verb 1 but in verb 2 it changed, become sung, feel become felt, go become went. I will give an example how we can know irregular verb in the sentence. Example, I sing a new song of Beyonce in present. Example second, I sang a new song of Beyonce on the Namjan wedding last month. Past tense sentence. Regular verb is any verb whose conjunctions follow the typical patterns of the language to which it belongs. Or, in simple definition, we can say regular verb are verb whose past tense version are formed by adding an ed to the end, such as describe, drop, walk. We need example to make it easy. She eat an apple. Verb in this sentence is verb on it of object or objective cues divided into two types. First is transitive verbs. Transitive verb is a verb that uses a direct object, and this verb divided into two kinds. First, monotransitive verb use single object. Transitive verb has pattern is subject plus transitive verb plus object. Example, she bought a book. Bought in this sentence is monotransitive verb. Next is this transitive verb double object, the pattern. Subject plus verb transitive plus indirect object plus direct object. Example, he lent me a car. We have intransitive verb in grammar and intransitive verb is a verb whose context does not entail a direct object. There are two types of intransitive verb. First, complete predication. Verbs which may be used as predicates without the aid of other words are called a verb of complete predication, or when a verb are with a verb and without recurring an object. For example, the baby cries every night. Incomplete prediction verb is different from complete predication. Now, let we move to discuss about auxiliary. First, we have to know what is auxiliary. Auxiliary verb, also known as a helping verb, is a verb that adds context and functionality to clauses and sentences. Auxiliary verb can be broken down into two main categories: primary auxiliaries verb and modal auxiliaries verb. Primary auxiliary verbs include be, do, and have. The in be conjugates to form different tense, voice, and moods. This verb can also function as action verb. And then we have modal auxiliary verb include can, could, would, should, shall, might, may, must, will, need, dare, and the past ought to and used to. We cannot conjugate modal auxiliary verb. Another example, I have lectured on this topic for years. In this example sentence, have is the helping verb to lecture, forming the present perfect tense. Another example about intention, she will read the letter out loud for the audience. Here, will is the modal verb being used to express intention. Okay, I think enough for my video today. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry for all my mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I tried my best. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How to use auxiliary verb for mood and voice? We can also use auxiliary verbs to express mood and voice. Mood refers to how a verb is meant to be intended, such as always, a question, or a fact. Voice refers to how the action described by the verb is expressed, either passive or active. Consider the following sentence. Example, I was ordered to take down the sign. Here, was ordered is an example of a helping verb being used to create the passive voice. Negative forms of auxiliary verbs. When forming the negative form of a verb, it is common to use the adverb not. Consider the following examples. I will not stay inside on such a lovely day. Here, the auxiliary verb will is necessary to complete the verb phrase. The last one, we talk about ways to use modal auxiliary verbs. Modal helping verbs express possibility, intention, necessity, and ability. They always precede the bar form of the verb and do not undergo conjunction. Take a look at same example of modal verbs in the following sentence. Number 1. Necessity. In the sentence, we must fight to preserve what remains. must express the necessity of the action verb fight.